Absolutely. That's a very important point you're making. And I want to involve one of the country's foremost lawyers. Mr. Ram Jethmalani is now joining me on the show. Mr. Jethmalani, we're having this very engaging debate between Justice Sodhi and Prashant Bhushan and Majid Memon, where the justice is making the argument that the Supreme Court has been too scathing. The comments are too broad, too sweeping. It is not correct to tarnish everybody in the same brush. Majid Memon and Prashant Bhushan making the point that it's high time that the courts begin to introspect. Do you believe that Justice Markanday Kajju has gone way too far, said more than he should have, and really lowered the dignity of the Allahabad High Court by tarnishing everybody in the same brush, sir?
Look, I don't agree. This problem is not a new problem. It is a very old problem. It has almost become chronic. And in spite of protests from respectable quarters, the problem has not ceased to exist. Now, if somebody who does not enjoy the immunity of a Supreme Court judge goes out and says something which Mr. Justice Kajju in his judgment has said, he will be hauled up for contempt. And people are not really very happy in getting involved in contempt proceedings instituted either by the High Court or by any other court. Therefore, somebody has to speak the truth. And I'm very happy that the bench in which Mr. Justice Kajju has delivered this judgment did finally speak up. And there is no other way of stopping it. I mean, I hope it was relevant to the matter which the court was deciding. And once it had some relevance to the matter which the court was deciding, you cannot possibly complain about it. There is a jurisdiction to expunge remarks, but that jurisdiction is a very limited jurisdiction where some thoughtless observation without any thinking and introspection has crept into the judgment. I personally don't think that anything of that kind has happened. It is a very, very conscious expression of the condemnation of a malady which is undermining the dignity of the courts. It is producing injustice, and it is certainly producing the apprehension of injustice.
Do you believe
this must be stopped? And I'm very happy that the bench did talk about it.
No, but Justice Sodhi made this point, and I want your thoughts on this, Mr. Jethmalani, that when you make a comment like there's something rotten about the Allahabad High Court, Justice Sodhi wants to know, why doesn't Markanday Kajju take into account the fact that the Uncle Judge syndrome prevails also in the Supreme Court, prevails in other courts of the land? Why is the Allahabad High Court being singled out? And if there are several judges, one judge, two judges, several judges who are indeed corrupt, name them publicly. Why make everybody seem equally corrupt? That's the point that Justice Sodhi is making.
Now, I'm sorry, I don't agree that judge should go totally out of his way, because he was not attending a seminar. He was not addressing a public meeting. He was deciding a case before him, and he can only make observations which are relevant to that particular court. And Mr. Justice Kajju is very, very intimately associated with the working of the Allahabad High Court. He knows more about it, and I think he is the person more qualified than anybody else. Though I must tell you that I have another very dear friend of mine, Mr. Shanti Bhushan, who met me only a couple of days back, and he came and said that I'm very happy that the Supreme Court has come down on this kind of a thing. It's a scandal which has got to be stopped. And why don't you look at it from another point of view? The Bar Association in Allahabad is reported to have supported what Mr. Justice Kajju has done. So that should be held to be almost conclusive on the facts of this case. And if Mr. Sodhi wants a larger canvas to be painted by the judiciary, it can be done at a seminar, but not while deciding a case.